In 1942, movie audiences watched brides collapse lifeless at the altar, struck down the moment they breathed in a bouquet of orchids. The killer was not a rival or a jealous lover. It was a soft-spoken old doctor who needed their bodies. The film was called The Corpse Vanishes, and its plot was genuinely unhinged. A mad scientist named Dr. Lorenz Males poisoned orchids to brides on their wedding morning. The flowers put the women into a death-like coma at the ceremony. Then, while the city mourns, Lorenz spirits the bodies away. Why? Because his wife, the Countess, is aging and nothing else keeps her young. Lorenz has discovered that a fluid drawn from the brides can freeze her aging in place. So he keeps a cellar full of stolen women in suspended animation, draining them again and again. The brains behind all this belonged to Bela Lugosi, playing Dr. Lorenz with the same slow, hypnotic gravity he had used a decade earlier to play Dracula. By 1942, though, Lugosi was no longer Hollywood royalty. A decade after Dracula made him a star, Lugosi was stranded on Poverty Row. Monogram Pictures hired him for a string of bargain horror quickies, shot on breakneck schedules, and he carried them on sheer presence alone. The man who had been Universal's Prince of Darkness was now working for a studio that made movies like an assembly line. Monogram was the definition of a B studio. Tiny budgets, fast schedules, recycled sets. The Corpse Vanishes cost almost nothing and looks it. But within those limits, it reaches for genuine, queasy dread. The cellar of slumbering brides, the syringes, the orchids. It plays like a nightmare you cannot quite wake from. The reporter who unravels the scheme is Patricia Hunter, played by Luana Walters. She is the one who notices that every dead bride received the same rare orchid and that every body then vanished from its casket before burial. Hunter infiltrates the Lorenz estate and meets its full menagerie. There is the Countess, ageless and trembling. There is a hulking assistant. And there is a dwarf played by Angelo Rossito, a real character actor who appeared in films across 6 decades. What makes The Corpse Vanishes linger is how far ahead of its time it feels. The idea of harvesting from living bodies to grant another person immortality is pure body horror, a genre that would not even be named for another 40 years. The orchids are the masterstroke. A wedding was the most photographed, most public moment of a woman's life in 1942, and the film turns that joy into the exact instrument of her capture. The killer weaponizes celebration itself. Of course, it is a B picture, and it stumbles. The science is nonsense. The pacing drags in the middle. Some performances are barely awake. But the central image, brides falling one by one while a polite old man waits to collect them, is impossible to shake. Like so many Poverty Row films, The Corpse Vanishes simply slipped out of copyright. Monogram never renewed it, and decades later it landed in the public domain, free for anyone to watch, copy, or remaster. Today you can stream it for nothing on the Internet Archive, exactly as audiences first saw it, orchids and all. A strange, cheap, disturbing little film that outlived the studio that made it and the copyright that was supposed to protect it. The real vault cracks open one strange public domain film at a time. Hit follow because the next one might be even stranger than brides collapsing at the altar.